I think this is a really, really tough kind of subject because we are, asked all the time about, how do I build my cash flow? What do I do with my cash flow? And ultimately, every time I need to pay the staff, I've got this big bill to pay and I'm just stressing out about it constantly. And it's that fear, isn't it? Because you get to the 15th of the month and thinking, okay, how much money have I got in the bank and can I pay for this, can I afford that? And it's just a constant juggle of all the bills that you're getting.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, exactly. It is, absolutely, and it's a difficult position to be in if you don't have those cash flow reserves. But it does come back to looking at the budget and allocating money throughout the month. I mean, everyone works differently, but I personally felt every week you would allocate a certain amount of money to each area, whether that's the VAT, the wages. So you're putting away a bit all of the time. The stock must be budgeted because if you're overspending on that, then there's so many different elements to building the cash flow, isn't there? And I think as owners as well, we get that thing where if we've had a good month, we're like, brilliant, what can we do now? Let's redecorate, let's do this. But so it's kind of really understanding the budget, where the money's going, but also I still see so many owners not putting away the VAT or or a bit here and a bit there for different areas. Now I'm really keen on doing that. It doesn't work for everybody, but I do think it gives you that little bit of sense of safety.
You're not sweating every time you have to pay the VAT. It's kind of there. The money's there.
Or like I've got to borrow it from the VAT to pay the wages. But even so, if you then still have to borrow a little bit out of one pot to do something else until the 4th of the month, until you can recoup it, if you're in that position, but at least you've got somewhere to actually recoup it from.
I think to me it goes back to when we do kind of coach on a one-to-one these owners who are struggling with everything in terms of financials. There's two elements to it. There is a mindset because there's many businesses that deal with overdraft and not enough cash in the bank and still managing to invest on certain areas, and they can sleep at night because that's how they function, and they know they're building the bigger picture, or they're building something kind of stronger in where they're going with it. And the other aspect to me, so the mindset for me is very, very important, because the minute you start that everything is heavy and oh my god, I need to take that becomes just a vicious circle of just feeling that you're in a circle of doom, I guess. But the other mindset as well is revisiting that budget, like you said, putting money aside. It's good if you've got the money to put aside, and that's where it can become a little bit disgruntling. Is that a word?
Possibly
disgruntled by the whole aspect of having to put that money aside and everything else because you don't have the money to put aside.
I mean, that's another
whole story. So then what is the analyze into your costs? For example, if there's not enough money coming in, are the stuff profitable enough? Do you have too many of them? Is it that you're carrying someone you shouldn't be carrying anymore? Is it that you are focusing on certain aspect of the business that actually should have changed quite a long time ago? And unless you're doing that deep analysis of the business, you are constantly going to be in that circle that you can handle or you can't handle. And in which case you've got to start thinking differently, because we see it all the time when you see a big business that is, I remember down the road, my daughter was saying, oh my God, this cafe was just always busy. There was a queue outside on a Sunday all the time. Why is it gone under? And a lot of time it's not because it's busy. It's because they've not managed the cash flow. And they've not managed how to generate that money and what to make out of that money. Well, and stop buying cushions.
Stop buying cushions,
Not saying anything.
But we were chatting to a new client yesterday, weren't we? And that typical thing came up, that she had the conversation with the accountant because she's struggling with cash flow. And the accountant said, well, the figures all look fine, so it should be fine. You're fine. Or your accountant saying to you, well, there's 10 grand profit in the business, so, but you don't see it in the cash flow. And I think that can get really you know, we see that all the time, but then when you look at the budget and you really dig down deep into it, you can see where the cash flow is going. Yes, there's profit, but it's completely different to cash flow.
Yeah,
so when you're talking to the accountant, they're looking at it from a completely different angle.
Definitely. And also, but that's also kind of reinforcing, oh, maybe it's me.
Yeah.
Because it must be me. If he's telling me I'm fine, or the accountant's telling me I'm fine, then I should be fine, but I'm not.
Yeah.
So that's why I keep saying it definitely is a mindset in the way you're processing the information and being less attached emotionally to what's going on within the bank, really.
Yes.
And very, very specific into the control of certain aspects of your business, such as, you know, the staff. Is it too overstaffed? Are they profitable enough? The stock. I mean, I can save money just by the stock management.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, we do a lot of emotional decisions. But I do feel that somewhere along the line, when you really are in that struggle and that mindset, unless you have someone holding your hand a little bit and giving you that accountability, you'll find that you are constantly in that mindset, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think as well, when you're like you were saying a minute ago about that, it depends how you view money as well, because, for instance, I'm a bit of a spender.
No.
And but just on a personal front, myself and my sister, so let's just say we're two completely different people, she will save and never want to use a credit card, never want to create an overdraft, whereas I'm happy to sit. I'm not happy, but I feel okay to sit in an overdraft, because then I know then something at some point will be coming back in, or I'm doing this or doing that. And I feel okay to operate like that. But some people just can't do that, so they don't want to be going into their overdraft, so that causes the panic and the stress about the cash flow. But in business, I personally feel like, you know, obviously you do take risks all the time, and there's an element of feeling comfortable that there's money in, money out, but not to be too scared about, to a certain degree, you know, not to be, yes, you might need to use a credit card for something or to do this. Obviously, it's all a balanced, informed decision that you're making, and that's when you need to understand.
Yeah.
You know, and if you can see a growth, but you need to use a bit of money to do this, but you know, you can see the growth, or you know where the business is going, and so on, then if you're comfortable within all of that, then you can then feel more comfortable about the money and how it moves.
And I think ultimately, when you've got that, I agree fully, but there is a little bit of an element of having that comfortable decision making. Again, it goes back to decision making. When you hear someone, or when we talk to someone and said, you know, I've invested in this machine because, you know, it's going to bring me that much money and it's going to be a great ROI, but you've not done a strategy behind it. You've not even asked your clients if they wanted it. You've invested in something you wanted because you think it's going to bring you that cash flow, but is it? And we're talking to someone who said, oh, I'm going to open another salon because then it's going to give me a cash flow, and I don't need, and I'm sitting there like it's just going to pull your, it's basically becomes a short-term solution for a long-term problem if you're not careful, and unless you've got that real strategy around how am I going to build that cash flow, you're going to constantly be in that element of despair, I guess, and make decisions that are not valuable for the business, but more for your cash flow issue right now at this present moment. So we've got to have difficult conversations sometimes, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah.
So all you have to do now is press the subscribe button and join us every week for an Inside Chat.
And if you have any burning questions that we haven't yet answered, then just pop in the comments below or send us an email and we can include them in one of our weekly chats.
And also we have started this amazing community of like-minded salon owners to join us on a monthly basis with our Inside Chat subscription.
Yeah, on that chat as well, you'll also get access to lots of free downloads and content that can really support you in your business.
And thank you so much for listening.
And we'll see you next time.